Hello and welcome again to class. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Welcome to Poultry Science. Now we have another ailment, another disease of poultry, and as you may expect, more often than not, most ailments in the scientific terms can be long, and this is one of them. We have avian encephalomyelitis. Avian encephalomyelitis. Now let us do a dissection of the name. Now one of the things I enjoy most about, or fascinates me so much about science, is this: the nomenclature, the naming system. Now if you understand some of the basics, you'll be able to tell what the meaning of that name is, or what information is conveying. Certain information about that ailment will be clearly told, will be clearly seen from the name. Now, look at some of the things. Now, let's look at the name before we go quickly. The word, let's even start from avian. Avian means from aves. Avian, from aves. In science, aves refer to birds. Birds, chicken, pheasant, turkey, quail, the others. Avian. You can have like avian influenza, meaning it's not that which affects humans basically. Then you have encephalomyelitis. Let's split it this way: encephalomyelitis. N means within, then cephalo. Cephalo will mean like brain, the brain, and the spinal cord, and like that. Then my spinal cord, and then litis means like inflammation. Inflammation is scientific. Bringing it to a more layman's language could be swelling. Waxing a bit more scientific again, it can be distension or inflammation, and or swelling. Usually some of the presentation is usually hotness, redness of any place that is distended or that is swollen. Now let's come back. If you look at this from the name, avian means peculiar to aves. Encephalomyelitis within the brain and spinal cord. Starting from down up is a disease that affects or that causes swelling or distension within the brain or the spinal cord. So, avian encephalomyelitis, disease that affects aves, birds, affecting them within the spinal cord, where the spinal cord is swollen or inflamed. Now, it's also called epidemic tremor. The spinal cord controls coordination. Anything that begins to affect it begins to affect balance, stability. So you begin, whatever it is, animal begin to lose stability or balance. Anything that affects it, the spinal cord, that is the tremor. Now let's come quickly. I've talked about this in passing. Infected animals are usually chicken, turkey, pheasant, quail, and the others. Now what's the causal agents? The finger points at enterovirus. In other words, it's a viral disease. Enterovirus is actually fingered. Now, what's the mode of transmission? How is it transmitted from one bird to another? It's usually transmitted through contaminated feed and water. Now, note this: in chicken, it's usually less than, when the age is less than 6 weeks old, more often than not. You see, now, it's usually contaminated central egg through infected eggs, from infected eggs to the chicks. Or sometimes chicks that are not strong or vulnerable can also pick the virus from another chick that is a sufferer. Now, what are the signs? Now, because of the length of the video, we're going to talk about general signs. In the next one, I'm going to talk about more specific signs. So I want you to stay tuned to the next video and watch, and so you get more. So we'll finish, we'll conclude it. It's a bit longer. I don't want the video to be too long. Now, the signs and symptoms, you see it manifest, usually will manifest between the first 3 weeks I've said this for chicken, usually less than 6 weeks. You see the signs. Now, coming from this, I've talked about balance. You see nervousness and tremor, afraid or shakes, can't control. Of course, because also affect the spinal cord and the brain, it's going to cause paralysis. You also now see the bird like he's prostrating, he can't stand upright, can't control. Even when it try to stand, it's shaky, even when there's nothing threatening it. Now, there are times where you can find this portrayed in, now of course it leads to higher mortality. If they can't stand properly, they can't walk to water, they can't walk to drink, they can't stand properly, it's inadvertently going to lead to high mortality. Now, when it happens in breeder hen or laying hen, you'd have also, it's going to affect the laying ability, and in some cases with the breeder, it's going to affect hatchability. In other words, eggs that have been laid, the hatching of it will reduce. Breeder eggs, breeder farms, especially when they are carriers, when they are carriers of this. So egg drops, egg production drops, and hatchability is also adversely affected. The egg drop can drop up to 20% of the original in this case. Now, I want you, like I said before, to stay tuned to the next. Understand that ailments that affect chicken affects the pocket, affects your financially. So we have to know this. Knowledge is power. It's going to help you nip these things in the bud so that they don't affect you financially. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for being a friend. We'll see you in the next class. Thanks.